an exciting afternoon. We're here to celebrate and also announce the introduction of the Justice for Job Seekers bill. Assemblymember Moya from the 39th District is our lead sponsor, and we'll be saying a few words in just a few minutes. Employment agency fraud, predatory practices in our community are a huge concern. They've been a huge concern for a number of years. As Director of New Immigrant Community Empowerment, we have seen people come into our organization time and time again denouncing these abusive practices. There are 300 agencies in this city that are licensed by DCA, but we all know that there's actually hundreds more that are unlicensed and committing abuses. There's also about 100 agencies that are licensed by the Department of Labor outside of the state. Now, 300 licenses, but every year there's about that many complaints going into DCA. We also know that low-wage job seekers are very busy, and most of them aren't actually complaining. So we can figure that the number of complaints going in every year really should be in the thousands as well. In 2012, we did a survey, and we found out that 80% of the people that we talked to had paid a fee but had not gotten a job. We also found out that 1/3 of the people that we talked to had been sent to a job that was paying below the minimum wage. Our communities can no longer suffer these abuses. We have to stick together, and we have to rely on our government to create better laws and tougher enforcement. The penalties in New York State are very low compared to anywhere else in this country. The advanced fee structure also thoroughly discriminates against low-wage job seekers. Only these kinds of job seekers are charged advanced fees, whereas other job seekers are not. So we're excited here today to announce the Justice for Job Seekers bill that was just introduced on Monday. This bill will have a huge impact on the issue of employment agency fraud and abuse. This bill, and I want you to cheer when you hear something like the lights, okay? Yeah? Okay. This bill is going to eliminate advanced fees. This bill is going to empower job seekers and create a private right of action. This bill is going to increase the penalties when people commit abuses. This bill is going to incorporate notice of rights on receipts in the language of the job seeker. Importantly, it's also going to have anti-retaliation provisions so that job seekers that complain can do so safely. And finally, this bill is going to give us a written agreement with the hours and pay that the job seeker should expect when they go to a job. Again, we're incredibly thankful to our lead sponsor, Assemblyman Francisco Moya. From the 39th District, our district in Queens, he knows this problem is in his backyard along Roosevelt Avenue and along a lot of other immigrant communities and communities with low-wage workers. He was attentive to us, he was attentive to the work of the coalition, attentive to the words of his own constituents, and has introduced this bill. So we're incredibly grateful to him. I want to introduce him as to speak.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. I want to thank Valeria again for her wonderful, wonderful work and commitment to this project for a number of years. The New Immigrant Community Empowerment organization has been one of the most vocal groups in the district that has really combined efforts with myself and others. I also want to thank Laura Huiza from Latino Justice, who has thrown herself into protecting the rights of immigrants. Joyce Gill Campbell from Domestic Workers United, yes, you can cheer, who has always reminded us of how critical it is to remember the dignity of all workers. The workers as well, for your courage to come forward and share your stories. Every day, predatory employment agencies take advantage of our most vulnerable population, unemployed, low-wage, and immigrant workers who are desperate for work. The agencies routinely charge fees without providing a service and demand exorbitant fees of job placement and refer workers to jobs that pay below minimum wage.
That ain't right.
That ain't right. That's right. That's right. And these labor sharks, they know exactly what they're doing. They're preying on immigrants, they're preying on low-wage workers, and this law goes to the very heart of cutting into what their practice is doing. We are here to say that those days are over. We are here to say that we are in the business of protecting our communities and workers from being abused. So I am proud to be joining my colleagues in state government. We're joined, of course, by my good friend. He is now the council member in Brooklyn and the chair, am I correct, of Consumer Affairs, and we're very happy to have him here. He'll be speaking very soon. But in Albany, we're going to go tackling the issue, because this is an issue that is not about partisanship, it's about fairness. And we're going to make sure that we get this bill passed this year with your great work and your support to make sure that we are protecting all of the people in this great state of New York. And with that, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Assemblymember Moya. Another round of applause for him.
Thank you.
And we will continue to partner with you on this issue and make sure that this gets passed in Albany this year.
Yeah.
Yes. As the Assemblymember said, we're also joined here by Councilmember Rafael Espinal. He is the Chair of Consumer Affairs. He has been supportive of this issue as well, and so I want to open the podium for him to say a few words.
First and foremost, I would like to commend my ex-colleague in the State Assembly, Francisco Moya, for all his work, not only in this issue, but all issues that affect all immigrants across the city, the state of New York. It's really disheartening to know that there are so many New Yorkers that are being defrauded while seeking services from employment agencies. Most of these victims come from our most vulnerable populations, like immigrants with limited financial resources or language barriers. As chair of the Consumer Affairs Committee, I'm deeply concerned about these practices, and I'm committed to putting an end to these dishonest practices so that New Yorkers looking for jobs are not being taken advantage of. I commend Assemblymember Moya for introducing this bill that will crack down on employment agencies and that are ripping people off. I look forward to working with them to ensure that this legislation comes to reality. In the city, I'm looking to introduce a resolution supporting Francisco Moya's bill, so hopefully in the next few days we'll get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Espinal. We look forward to continuing to work with you and to seeing the introduction of the resolution as well. I want to acknowledge the work of everyone that belongs to the Justice for Job Seekers Coalition. Let's have a big round of applause for everyone. This is a coalition of over 25 groups statewide, 30 groups, thank you for the update, statewide. That includes advocates, community-based organizations, legal services organizations, and much more that are come together around this very critical issue. The coalition has developed principles, has identified the issue. Community members have come forward with their stories, they have given testimonies, developed resources, and they've even developed a play about the issue. So they've been working hard. I want to bring up some of the members of the coalition to say a few words. First, I'd like to introduce Laura Huizar of Latino Justice.
Thank you, Valeria, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm so proud to be here today as part of Latino Justice and part of the Justice for Job Seekers campaign. At Latino Justice, we see workers coming in regularly with employment agency stories, stories of abuse and stories of fraud. And so we joined the coalition in order to try to address that abuse and target agencies' predatory practices. Agencies are able to give the low-wage workers that we work with the runaround whenever they go to employment agencies. The current law also imposes only weak and very out-of-date penalties. They haven't been updated since the 1970s, and we are definitely not on par with other states around the country. The current employment agency laws also do not allow workers to go to court in order to hold employment agencies accountable. And so workers have to go to government agencies like the Department of Consumer Affairs or the Department of Labor, and these are all agencies that we know are already overburdened. And so the law currently makes it very difficult for workers to hold agencies accountable. And as Valeria mentioned, the Justice for Job Seekers bill is going to change that, or can change that. It addresses the advance fee issue by abolishing it. So all workers will now only have to pay a fee after they've been placed in a job. The Justice for Job The Justice for Job Seekers bill also brings our penalties up to date. And so we'll be on par with other states if the bill is adopted. The bill also allows workers now to go to court and hold agencies, employment agencies accountable without relying on agencies, government agencies. The law will also empower workers, as we mentioned earlier. It will give workers more information. It will make it easier for them to assert their rights, to hold agencies accountable. And the bill in many ways will also incentivize employment agencies to do the right thing and place workers in better jobs. And so we're very proud to be here today as the Justice for Job Seekers campaign. The bill reflects the expertise of advocates and workers all over the state. And we thank Assemblyman Francisco Moya for his leadership on this issue. And we will continue to support Assemblyman